Hello, my friends. You are welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mary, and I'm gonna tell you sleep is very, very important to your health. It's just as important as eating healthily, exercising. That is how important sleep is to you. And sleep deprivation can add up. So when you miss hours of sleep every single day, it can add up and it can become a huge health concern. So make sure you're getting enough sleep every single day. When you get enough sleep, it's very, very important for you. It helps a lot. It actually helps when you fall asleep, right? Things happen during those hours that you're asleep. And by the way, according to studies, us adults should be getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day to be able to function properly. And when you sleep during those hours, a lot happens in your system. There's restoration of nutrients going on in your system. You have your spirit gets replenished, your mind gets refreshed, and that is very, very important. So getting enough sleep is very crucial for your health. I must tell you that. By the way, if this is your first time to my channel, please don't forget to click the subscription button below. Give me some thumbs up because that makes me happy. I'll support your girl here. Please don't forget that. And also, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of what I do in my channel if this is your first time here. I'm all about healthy tips. I'm all about motivation, positive vibes, and now I'm all about giving you those tips that can help you lose weight and keep it off, because I know most people lose weight, but it's a huge challenge for them to keep that weight off. Yes, that's what I talk about. Just positive vibes. You need something positive, come check me out here and you will be happy by the time you leave. So let's talk about sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation is a huge concern, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my experience when it comes to sleep deprivation. It's not a good experience at all, I must tell you that. I am a nurse by profession, and I work lots of night shifts, 12-hour shift, and it can be so hard on the body. I have experienced it. I'm gonna tell you in a little bit, so just keep watching and you will hear about that in a little bit here. So let's talk about what can happen to you when you get deprived of sleep. A lot goes on. Number one, tiredness. You get so cranky. There is mood swings, fatigue, low energy, excessive sleepiness. Like sometimes you walk sleep. Have you ever seen somebody walking and sleeping? I have seen that, and it's not a good thing. You can fall in a pit. Please don't walk and sleep. So make sure you're having enough sleep so you're not tripping on things when you're walking around, for sure. It can increase your stress level. We have the stress hormone, which is called cortisol. So when you don't get enough sleep, that stress hormone gets increased in your system. So you don't want to have that, because when you get a lot of sleep, a lot of stress in your system, a lot happens. Like it can even affect your relationship. Sometimes people, your friends can say things, or your partner or somebody can say something that if you had enough sleep, you respond to that positively, but because you have not had enough sleep, you respond to that so negatively, and that's not good. So make sure you are getting enough sleep. It can also cause like neurological disturbances. This is where I got affected here. So sleeplessness can cause blurred vision. It can actually cause like memory lapses, poor reaction time. It can make you have like a slow ability to process information. It can actually cause like dropping of your eyelids. So I'm going to talk about blurred vision here. That's how I was affected. I'm going to tell you. So by the way, before I tell you my testimony here, I'm going to say a big thank you to all my well-wishers out there, to all those who pray for me ceaselessly to make sure I stay safe, because your prayer definitely works. It's been helping me a lot. So just like over a week ago, I had an incident where I had a couple of night shifts in a row, and like 2 days before I started my night shift, I worked a day shift, and I had 2 patients back to back tell me, I'm gonna be praying for you. That was so powerful for me, and I said thank you, because I know the power of prayer. So one of them, it's a senior, she was like, we were just discussing, it wasn't even anything related to prayer or God or anything, like we were just having a conversation, and she was like, you know what, I'm gonna be praying for you. I'm like, thank you so much, I need the prayers. And then we finished that discussion, and I went to another patient, and he was like, during our discussion, we were talking about life and challenges in life, and he was like, I'm gonna be praying for you. I'm like, thank you so much. I need the prayer, because I do need the prayer every single day of my life. So if you can pray for me, if that's the only thing you can do for me, please do pray for me every day. Thank you so much. So that was 2 days before my night shift started. So then when I started my night shift, I worked the first night shift and then the second one. So after my second night shift, I had like 2 appointments back to back that morning. So I went to those appointments without having any sleep after work. And then on my way back from my last appointment at an intersection, I was seeing green light. So I was like seeing green coming. So then I was supposed to turn left and I was seeing green. So I drove and I was turning left, supposedly on green light, but that was a red light that I was turning left on. So at the intersection, there was this lady driving towards me, and she had the right of way actually. So she was coming from my left, driving straight down, and I was turning left. And then out of a sudden, I looked at her traffic light, and her light was turning yellow. I'm like, oh my God, I was wrong. Like, my light apparently was red and not green, but I saw green. So she was actually, I'm like, thank God she was not driving fast. Thank God for that, because if she was driving fast, only God knows what would have happened at that intersection. And then I was like, suddenly my eyes cleared off and I could see pretty good at that point in time, because I looked and I saw her light turning yellow, and I'm like, oh my God, that means my light was red and I was turning left. And I quickly drove off that intersection and she drove past, and then at that point in time I could hear in my brain like the police car making ring 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 ring. I'm like, oh my God, now I'm finished. So I looked around on my rear mirror, front mirror, everywhere around me. There was no police car, but I could hear in my brain ring 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 ring. I'm laughing right now, like that wasn't funny at that time. Like right now I'm thinking it's funny, but it wasn't funny, because then at that point I was thinking, okay, what would have happened at that intersection? That lady, what would have happened to her family? Like, she probably has kids, she probably had family. Like, if I had hit her at that intersection, what would have happened? If somebody had been injured, if the worst thing that could happen is somebody dying at that intersection, like what would have happened? It's not all about me, it's about that lady there. Like, she has a family. Like, a lot can happen. You can cause so much damage to people when you don't have enough sleep, and that is just one example. We've had so many ghastly motor accidents because of lack of sleep. Do not be one of those, please. Make sure you're having enough sleep every single day. Another thing is, you may develop pre-diabetes. That is another huge thing. So what happens is, when you don't get enough sleep, there can be an increase in your glucose level in your body. And another thing that can happen is there is an increase in insulin resistance actually in your body. So make sure you're having enough sleep. You may also increase weight gain. That is another thing, because when you stay up longer without sleeping, you crave to eat, and you mostly crave for sweets and snacks. So you're eating a lot while you're awake. So for you to avoid that, make sure you go to bed in time and sleep enough sleep hours. So that is very huge. But you know what? That notwithstanding, we can actually manage this in such a way that I know life is busy, we have busy days, but you know what, there are things that we can do to be able to fit in the required number of sleeps that we need every single day to function properly. Of course, your life is busy because you have to do things right. So for you to do those things properly, you need enough sleep to be able to do those things properly. So let's ensure we are having enough sleep so that we can run our life in a healthier way. If you're still here and you love what you're hearing and you haven't subscribed yet, please, it takes a second to click the subscription button and support a sister here. Thank you so much. And let's talk about what we can do to be able to sleep better. One of the biggest things that you can do is schedule your sleep time. Have a time that you go to bed and have a time that you wake up. That is huge. Treat your sleep time like medication that you take. You know, there are certain medications that you need to take to be able to function well. So make your sleep time medication for you, because it's very important. When you have good sleep, you function very well. You smile even when things are wrong. You just smile. Your stress level is down because you had enough sleep, and you're just giggling, and people want to know, why is this lady so happy? Just tell them you had a good night's sleep. That is all. So that is very important. Schedule your sleep time. And you know what? With time, your brain automatically adapts that. Like, you don't need to stress to go to sleep because you've done it over and over and your brain is used to it, and now they just go to sleep and wake up at the time that you've always done. So that also helps train your brain a lot. Have a consistent wake up time. We've talked about that already. Put away smartphones and tablets when it's bedtime. If possible, do that like an hour before your scheduled bedtime, because your brain needs a little while to fall asleep slowly. So it needs to settle, it needs to get things in place before it can fall asleep. So that is very important. Phone can be distractive a lot. If possible, I would tell you, not if possible, like make sure you have your phone on silent when you go to bed, so that you can put up all those notifications, because sometimes some people, when you get a vibration on your phone or a notification and you wake up, it is very hard to fall asleep again. You might not be able to fall asleep again because you've just got woken up by that notification. So putting your phone on silent before going to bed is definitely a smart idea. So make sure you do that. That's helpful. Pay attention to what you eat or drink. That is also a big thing. Make sure you don't go to bed hungry, because hunger can wake you up. I have been woken up so many times by hunger. So make sure you eat make sure you're not hungry before going to bed. And also watch out what you eat before you go to bed, because you definitely want to be having like light snacks, things like maybe a cup of yogurt. You can have maybe like a protein bar, something not heavy before you go to bed, so it can actually be digested before you wake up in the morning. So you don't want to stuff your system with so much stuff before falling asleep, because that can also make it difficult for you to fall asleep. Make sure you don't go to bed hungry. I must tell you that for sure. Create a restful, calm environment. That is another huge thing too. When you are going to bed, you want to have a calm environment. You might make your room dark. You might make it quiet. You might have like a warm bath before you go to bed. You might even listen to like relaxation meditations. That helps me a lot. That can actually make you fall asleep in a soothing way. It's very, very important. And of course, I'm gonna tell you, sometimes you're not falling asleep because maybe you have like a sleep disorder or something is going on with your system. So you should make sure you consult your doctor if you're struggling so hard with sleep, because you need sleep to be able to function. So consult your doctor if you're finding it difficult to fall and stay asleep, so that if it's a medical concern that needs to be attended to, that should be done before it gets out of hand. And thank you so much. If you're still here and you're loving what you're hearing, make sure you click the subscription button if you haven't done that yet. So give me some thumbs up, and you take care out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.